Okay, so my name is Anas Sharif. Our design was for solar energy in general, how to make it more, useful or effective. Not really effective, but reduce the cost. One way is by cleaning. The way solar panels need to be cleaned sometimes year round, if not even year round, every couple months or every quarterly in a year. It can also be used for industrial or residential. This is designed basically for residential that I've come up with. So this is like a solar panel on the roof, and what we would have here would be have like a robotic squeegee or like a robotic machine. This is just a simple design of it that has three basic functions, like a three-in-one, or like three-in-one, or you don't even have to. You could make it a two-in-one. So the purpose, what it would be, is that it attaches to the solar panel on the rear, so as to not sit on the solar panel, because then that will decrease the efficiency of the solar panel taking in the sunlight. It would have sensors on it. The reason it would have sensors, I believe, is because there's already ways to clean panels, but with sensors, instead of having someone come out, instead of you paying someone to come out every once in a while, or just cleaning yourself, because it'll sense a point where the dust accumulates or the soot based off the fire issues and forest fires in California that produce soot and come on the roofs and people's houses and things. It'll have a sensor that's built in that it'll recognize to a certain degree what will cause it to be a little or too much, and then it'll start self-automating by itself. So the way it would go is option one. I researched about it. So this is how solar panels, like a simple one, would be like, it's one panel, but in that panel there's a lot of layers. So obviously the top layer would be glass, and also you can have a frame as well, but first layer would be glass. Second layer would be the encapsulating or whatever films they use, and then there's the solar cells, which is the PV photovoltaic cells. Then another layer, then the back sheet, and then they have the junction that attaches to the roof. So this machine would basically be focusing, because when all the dust and trash or whatever, not the soot, whatever, gets on the glass, the way whenever it senses it, it would go. Option one, I would think it would be vinegar. Vinegar is a very good detergent cleaning solution on glass. What it does is it's very good to just clean it. So it would apply vinegar with some water solution as well. It would apply one coat of it. After that, it would come back with the brush and it will brush it into it, and another water coat after that. And after that final, if you don't even really need it, but because it'll just dry by the sun itself, water is not going to really affect it because it rains as well on solar panels and stuff, and that doesn't really cause an issue for the efficiency of the sunlight to be absorbed. But you could also clean it with a cloth. Another option would be is I researched about it, is another way you can use either vinegar. You can use other solutions if we can find cheaper, better alternative solutions that stay on year longer and help clean it more longer, or like in a better efficiency. Is glass cleaning cream. So you could also apply a coat of cream, and with that cream, then you could have water, and after that water, then you could use a cloth. But then you would in the cream solution option, you would have to use a cloth, because once you apply the water to the cream will dissolve, but it'll also leave residue on it. So obviously, to remove that residue, you would have to use a cloth. I think option one would be the best, which is a little bit of vinegar and water, both solution at once, and then after you use the brush to brush it off. You can immediately go for a cloth, or to be more better efficient would be one last rinse of water and then a cloth to make it extra clean. And the way that would be is there would be a tank. It could be let's just say it could be a 5-gallon tank, or depending on the area that it's for. If it's for residential, maybe 5 is good. If it's for industrial, it would have to be much more larger. But for a residential, divided into 2 sections would be water and one for solution. Solution can be anything, like my option was vinegar, or it can be like a solution that someone came up with that's good for cleaning, or that's in the machine. So it goes to it's a pipeline that goes. It can be on the side of your house that goes up there, and basically just goes. And then also the built-in machine will have a sensor when it needs it, so it'll pump it up there and it'll be there. And then whenever you do use it, it'll use it. And then whenever it needs more, it'll just take more in, or you just turn it on every once in a while. It can, either it will be a manual thing, or we can make it more efficient by making it automatic system. But then we still have to look at the cost of that. How much more will it cost to build that in? So a cheaper, more commercial way for easier product use would be to have it manual. You can just when the machine goes on and on, you can like self-educate yourself to see how many times you need to pump it up. But I think 5 gallons is more than enough. And vinegar is like about, like, for generic brand is about $2 a gallon, so that's relatively cheap. So that's really cheap overall. The brush itself you could probably buy, if we in the machine we can make it with cheap material, but that's still good, like bristle microfiber cloth we can use, or anything else, but we can mass produce it to make it more less costly. And the cream itself is going to be more expensive, the cream based option, but so that's why I prefer, me personally, the vinegar based option. And in the machine in general, we would try to make it around maybe $150 to $300, for the basic model. Maybe another extra model that does more, it can be a little bit more expensive, but we would try to narrow it down to bring it to that level of cost around, because that'll be more affordable for people. And then this machine should be lasting as well. That'll decrease the prices of, instead of you calling somebody over to come to your house, or you cleaning yourself year round. It's basically like you investing in a vacuum, or you're investing in a like a Roomba, like a vacuum Roomba, and things of that nature. Even if you had that, what I think the best of this would be is the sensors, because instead of you doing it once a week, you're still using the machine, so that's being used. The less you use the machine is the more long run it'll be, or the less money you put into it by using water, using solution, changing the brush, whatever. So the sensors will help out whenever it's necessary, because you can always have a little dust, but you don't know if that little dust will make the solar panels less efficient. There's a certain amount of dust, or like a soot or dirt, that lands on it, then it becomes less sufficient. But yeah, that's the overall design.